Hey everybody, this is Megan Reed. I'm tuning in from my home since I am working virtually. But today we're going to be doing a live. It's going to be the first in our series trying to normalize conversations on mental health. So, without further ado, we'll get started. If you're not tuning in live, that's okay. We will be doing these every Tuesday for the month of September until Mental Health Illness Week in October on October 5th. So, not to worry, but we're going to start today's conversation a little bit on mental health and our before stage 4 philosophy. So, we're going to be introducing Maddie Worley, who is director here at MHA Greater Dallas. So I did want to go ahead and give a little introduction as to who we are. Hey, Maddie.
It worked.
Yay. So just by the way, everybody, this is our first time doing this, so be patient with us. We do hope that we can continue to do these. We really want it to be a normalizing conversation, a normal conversation about our mental health and our experiences, and looking at it from an everyday point of view, things that we're constantly experiencing, all the changes that we're going through. So I have invited Maddie Worley, who is our community outreach director, to talk a little bit about our before stage 4 philosophy, to introduce before we start inviting people from the community to tell their stories on our next Tuesday episode. So Maddie, did you want to go into it?
Yeah. So first, a little bit about me. I am Maddie Worley, as Megan said. This is my first ever Instagram live. So please be patient with me if I experience any technical difficulties. I am also joining you guys from my home. So there might be a dog that barks in approval of our conversation today. But um, but yeah, I joined MHA I guess about a year ago almost. And we've been rocking it ever since. But we strive to do what we can in our community to raise awareness. And so I'm really excited that we're able to facilitate some important conversations
Yes.
about what we do and who we are and why we do everything. Because I think this before stage 4 philosophy is really our driving force of what we do and why we do it. So I guess Megan, did you want me to?
Yeah,
Do
so
you want to
Maddie,
ask questions or what?
yeah, I'll ask you a couple questions and then you can go into the deep dive of before stage 4. So tell us a little bit about yourself. So why did you choose the mental health profession in the first place? What brought you to us?
So I've always been passionate about helping others. So I think that's my personal sort of driving force. I found social work. It seemed like the best fit for me. So I am a licensed master social worker. Before coming to MHA, I worked in another nonprofit that worked in schools in various roles. So I was able to really work directly with students and their families. And then I transitioned into more of a crisis support type of person. So I was able to have conversations with staff members and, again, students and families and even administrators about how they can create spaces on their campuses that make mental health a priority and can support those individuals who might be in crisis. It's kind of like, we had this situation happen. What do we do next? Um, and then also working with them to identify some of those early signs so it doesn't get to the crisis.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think we always focus a little too much on the crisis situation. We're
Mm-hmm.
always like, I don't know, it's that stigma that we're just too afraid to talk
Mm-hmm.
about it, or maybe we're not looking for the right resources, but really trying to take advantage of those prevention and intervention
Yeah.
techniques and skills, and whether that's on an individual level or maybe helping someone else is really important. So tell us a little bit about our before stage 4 philosophy. Just to, before Maddie gets into it, we are an affiliate of the Grand Mental Health America National. So, this is something that is pushed nationally. It's definitely something that we like to fight in the open about, right? Which is the entire base and platform for this series is really trying to make sure that well, for those who are comfortable in their mental health experience, to advocate for themselves and to speak out about their story. So, yeah, go for it, Maddie.
Yeah, so we like to think that we all have mental health. I saw, Meaghan, I saw the little graphic that you made. I think it's perfect, right? We all have it. So let's talk about it. So, what do we all have? We all have mental health, just like we all have physical health. We all have mental health. But sometimes our mental health, we're going through something. We're going through a season in our life, and so our mental health might need some checking in on. We might that might be, we're navigating a pandemic. We are having to change up our work atmosphere. We are having to teach virtually and in person. We're having to do kind of all these things that we never thought we'd have to do. And we're struggling with it, right? So let's talk about those struggles, right? Whether it's feeling nervous about something, worried about something, or you're like, I don't know why I'm doing this anymore. That might be when you're moving kind of up that ladder, or that moving forward on that spectrum of mental health. You might not be having your rock star days anymore. Maybe you're struggling, but you can't quite pinpoint what it is. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have severe fill in the blank diagnosis. It just means that there's an opportunity for you to check in with someone that you trust. So check in with someone that you feel you can talk to about some of these things, whether it's a professional or just a loved one, a friend, anyone like that. And just say, hey, you know what? I'm not doing okay right now. And do you think I could chat with you a little bit? Do something, take some time to enjoy doing what you love. Whether it's exercising, bleh, not me. Whether it's
Same.
exercising, reading a book, just even playing a game with your loved one. So that might be an opportunity for you to check in with yourself that way.
Right.
When it starts to move more into that mental illness stage is when our productivity and our ability to do life is severely impacted, and we're no longer able to get up out of bed, and we're no longer able to have conversations with our loved ones, and we might start withdrawing more from activities that we love, people that we love, things like that. That might be when we're moving into a different stage, and we might need to actually check in with those professionals, whether it's our doctor or a mental health provider. Oftentimes, your primary care doctor is a great first step. Talk to them about how you're feeling and let them maybe help you navigate some of those first steps when it comes to mental health. So mental health, I like to think of it as kind of the before stage 4 philosophy is kind of us on a spectrum of mental health, right? We're rocking it, we're golden, but just like sometimes we aren't feeling good physically, we also cannot feel good with our mental health. And so making sure that we are getting those checkups, not just for our physical health, but for our mental health as well, is so important. And that's what the before stage 4 philosophy is. It's being able to notice those differences, notice those signs before it gets to that crisis point, and you're having thoughts of suicide, you're having feelings of anger, of sadness, and it's not going away, and you can no longer function in your normal day-to-day life.
Yeah, definitely. So I think one of the hardest things for me, since this is supposed to be, sharing stories, when I I've been living with anxiety and depression for a long time now, but a lot of that was like, I don't even know what the first step was. And
Mm-hmm.
you mentioned, talking to, I mean, a doctor, a professional.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of resources are available at just like a typical clinic or like at a doctor? Like, how do you start that conversation with them?
Yeah, so I think if you're starting with your primary healthcare doctor, just be open with them about maybe what you're feeling, what you're experiencing. It could even be maybe you're noticing a shift in your personality, or your mood, and then from there they can either make a referral to maybe a clinic that they commonly refer to. Oftentimes in your doctors, they typically have a list of common providers that they partner with for various things,
Right.
right? Specialty areas. So they're going to have one that's specific for mental health as well. Um, and then they'll say, they might work with you and they'll check in with you still, about those opportunities. And I can say that from personal experience, right? I also am a person living with mental health. So whenever sometimes I might be feeling a different way about myself, I might start with my primary care doctor and just say, hey, here's some things going on based on what you know about me and my health. What do you think maybe some of my first steps should be?
Yeah.
If you don't want to take that path, there are other ways, contacting your local mental health authority is a great,
A screening. We
taking
do
one of
have
our
screenings.
taking one of our online screening tools
Yes.
is awesome. They're free, they're confidential. No one's gonna know what the results are. Oh,
Oh, we
sorry.
have a cat. Is
That
that
was
a
my
cat or a
cat.
dog?
It was a cat.
We have a
You
guest, everybody.
a
Unplanned.
celebrity appearance by Tegan the cat. But yeah, so our online screening, you guys, you can go to our website. They're free, they're confidential, they're anonymous. No one has to know the results unless you share that with them. You can take them on our website. But that's a great way too that you can check in and say, where am I falling on this spectrum right now?
Yes. Yeah, for sure. I think it's a great way to just see, you never
Mm-hmm.
know. And I think that it's always like that weird limbo. You're in that questionable, do I really need to get help? And so
Mm-hmm.
if you're not comfortable seeing someone or talking to someone yet, you can always just take that little screening and get those little resources afterwards and kind of just take it by course there.
Mm-hmm.
So, since we're sharing mental health stories and so forth, let's talk about self-care. I want to hear
Yeah.
about what do you do? I know what you do, but let's share. I'm going to put you on the spot. What do you like to do for your stress and anxiety?
There's a lot of different things. I think it depends on what I might be feeling in that moment. I'm a big fan of watching crime shows.
Yes.
That's something I do with my loved one is we kind of sit down and watch crime shows, whether it's a true crime show or one of the Hollywoodized crime shows.
Yeah.
But I also sometimes I like to color. I really love coloring books, playing games. I also have, Meaghan knows this because she has seen my office. I also have quite the assortment of various stress balls.
I
Um,
usually take one on Len. I go and rent one every once in a while.
yes, I like stress balls in all different shapes. Um, because I like fun things.
And that's okay. I mean, it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be serious,
Yeah.
and I think I love that because it's like, I think growing up, it's like, well, you have to journal. And journaling is this thing that
Mm-hmm.
this, and this, and it's supposed to be on a certain time of the day. And it doesn't have to be that way if you're not comfortable with it being that way. And so if you're watching this either live or post video, let us know what you like doing for the self-care,
Yeah.
and if you're having trouble identifying what that might look like or what that might be, let us know. Maybe we can talk about
Mm-hmm.
it, message us. There's so many different ways
Mm-hmm.
to really tackle the stress or the anxiety, anything, or maybe
Mm-hmm.
some sadness that you might be facing. I think right now we don't talk about this enough, but a lot of us are grieving. You know, the world isn't what it used to be,
Mm-hmm.
and I heard the other day, all news is bad news now. You know, we can't ever get that we saved a puppy story.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's okay,
Mm-hmm.
but we gotta figure out what we can do to
Mm-hmm.
start coping with those emotions and those moods.
Yeah, I think self-care is really, and I touched on it earlier when we were talking about that before stage 4 philosophy. You know, if you are sensing a shift in your typical normal everyday life, self-care is a great way to help maybe bring yourself back into those great 9, 10 areas where your days are golden. And the biggest tips for self-care, you want to make sure they're healthy, you enjoy doing them, and it's actually helping you. So that's sort of my philosophy for self-care is, do I enjoy doing this? Is it healthy? And is it actually helping my mental health?
Yeah.
And again, reach out to us if you need help navigating that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to think. Okay, so we went over self-care. We went over the before stage 4 philosophy. And I think the last thing, what we could do or talk about is what is a simple, and I think you know what I'm going to be pointing out to you, but what's an easy way to get yourself trained on how to identify these things? Maybe you want to take that
Mm-hmm.
next step, and maybe you're like, you know what, I'm comfortable with my mental health, or maybe I'm not comfortable about my mental health and I don't know how to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
What can we do to help others?
Yeah, I think that is a great piece when we talk about before stage 4. We can't ask you to notice these changes if you don't really know what you're looking for. So we do offer a great training. It's my favorite one. Mental health first aid. We do offer one that is specific for youth, and we offer one that is more for geared for adults. And in this course, you kind of go through what some of those signs and symptoms are that you would be looking for in various prevalent mental health disorders impacting our communities. And then we also give you tips on how to have those conversations. We give you a 5-step simple strategy that you can use for a non crisis, which is crucial and hopefully the area where you find yourself more invested. But then also you can use those same steps in a crisis situation if you ever were to find yourself needing to support someone who was in a mental health crisis. But our goal is to give you the support you need so that you can spot those early signs, those early symptoms, and step in before it escalates into that crisis stage 4 area. It doesn't mean that help isn't possible or available in stage 4 crisis. It just sometimes is a longer process or might be a little bit trickier to navigate. But help is available. Hope is possible. You just have to reach out and facilitate meaningful conversations.
Awesome. And just to look out, if anyone is interested, we have one on the 3rd, but we'll have upcoming ones. They're all virtual.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not comfortable coming in person, that's a-okay because we're doing them virtually anyway. Um, and yeah, I mean, I think we have a lot of exciting things to be looking forward to. Maddie,
Mm-hmm.
thank you for being our first guest.
Yes.
Everyone.
Meaghan, why don't you tell them the biggest way they can get involved with us right now in this season?
Oh, in this season. So, it is North Texas Giving Day season. It is our giving season. So, one great way if you're wanting to make a greater impact, you can definitely make a peer fundraising page for us through the North Texas Giving Day website. So, if you are interested in that, you can go through our little posts. I'm pretty sure there's a few in there. We'll be posting on that on how you can get active on that. Or maybe you don't want to, take too much time fundraising. We really appreciate the donation. We we just want to make sure that we're getting y'all the resources and keeping them free because that's a huge deal. So that,
Mhm.
if anyone's in need, we'd be happy to help them. So that makes a huge impact. I think another way that you can get involved is, I'm going down my list of forever things we have. It
I
is
think
Suicide Prevention Awareness Month in September.
yes, it is.
Yes. So, that's a great month to start looking up for resources. Maybe you want to host something for your group, for your work, for your friends, or maybe just community in general. You're like, you know what? I want to take my part and organize a mental health discussion, a workshop.
Mhm.
We can help that too. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Maddie.
I was just going to say shout out to Baron, who is involved with us for suicide prevention. I see him on here.
Yay.
Shout out to Baron.
Yes.
But yeah, I think the biggest thing you can do right now is check out all the work that we do, all the amazing things that we do. You can visit our website at mhadallas.org. You can check out our North Texas Giving Day page, MHA Dallas, Mental Health America of Greater Dallas, and look and see all the impact that we've had this year in our communities, what we're continuing to do in our communities, and join us on that mission by donating, volunteering, signing up to host an event for us with us. And we welcome it. Thank you all for being a great community.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. So stay tuned for next Tuesday. I'm wondering, everybody, if you have a problem with the 4 p.m., please let me know. It's kind of a weird time, but we make these for you. So if you're like, Meaghan, 4 does not work for me, let me know. But we plan on having these every Tuesday in the afternoon, and there'll be good 20-minute talks with people throughout their community, throughout the Metroplex. It can be across the state. Maybe you live in Houston or San Antonio and you're like, I want to tell my story. I want to say what I've been doing with it. Please let us know. Next week we'll be inviting Jamal Malik with 3050. He is a mental health advocate for the LGBTQ and communities of color. So he's really excited to be on next week, and I'm excited to have him. Anything else, Maddie?
No, great
All right.
job. Thank you,
Great
everyone
job.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone who
you.
tuned in.
Yes, yes. These are meant to be fun. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. Let us know any of your questions. We'd be happy to hear. And yeah, we'll see you next
Yeah.
time. All right, thanks.